Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Hockey time here, back for the NHL picks for October 15th. Really quick, going to run over the games from last night. New Jersey against Utah, a surprisingly low-scoring game. I hammered the over on this one and was super wrong. A 3-0 final for the Devils. A nice little win for Jake Allen. Ottawa taking care of business in a ridiculous game against Los Angeles. An 8-7 overtime final. Nobody could stop a beach ball. Darcy Kemper looked probably the worst of the three goalies. Obviously, none of them were very good. But again, an 8-7 final for Ottawa. The Panthers once again took care of the Bruins, a 4-3 final there, and then the Rangers taking care of the Red Wings. Those are the four games I got correct, and then I missed on the last two. Montreal falling to the Penguins. I believe the final score was 6-3, a good night for Malkin. And then Colorado once again falling, this time to the Islanders. Their goaltending still does not look great. It was a little bit better than it was in the previous two games, but still not good for Colorado. Definitely in a bit of trouble there. And the Islanders, of course, had Ilya Sorokin back in net. He looked pretty good. For tonight, we have 9 games on the docket. Vancouver against Tampa Bay being the first one. I like the Lightning in this one. It's Vasi. I would assume it's against Seelovs in net for Vancouver, regardless of who's playing for them, though I do like the Bolts to take care of it tonight. Vancouver hasn't looked great to start the year. Washington hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. I kind of lean Washington in this one, a bit biased, but I think at home, going to be looking for a strong game here from Logan Thompson facing his former team. We don't quite know who's in net for Vegas just yet, but I will take the Caps in a little bit of an underdog spot in this one. The Devils visiting Carolina on a second end of a back-to-back, and I actually have the Devils here. They're technically underdogs in this game as well. Probably going to be Markstrom against Kochetkov in this one, but I think all in all, the Devils got better in the offseason. The Canes got worse. I know, again, second half of back-to-back does not put things in their favor whatsoever, but I'll take them in the underdog spot here tonight. Florida, their second half of a back-to-back against the Blue Jackets. Being that it's against the Blue Jackets, it'll be an emotional night. I do think Columbus will come out with some fire, that being their home opener, the first game at home since Johnny Gaudreau's passing, but I do still have the Panthers in this one. Seattle against Minnesota. This will be a pretty interesting game. This is kind of two mushy middle teams in the Central Division and in the West as a whole. St. Louis has generally looked pretty good so far, so I am going to lean that direction tonight against Minnesota. I'm assuming Jordan Binnington's going to start. I'm not sure who it'll be for the Wild. I would think it'll be Philip Gustafsson. He's been very good for them so far, but we'll see in a little bit. Seattle visiting Nashville, two teams that have struggled a bit off the jump. On paper, I would expect Nashville to win this game, but I'm actually going to take Seattle in this one. Again, kind of just a gut check for me. I could very well see Nashville winning this game, but for whatever reason, I'm just leaning towards Seattle for this one. I don't know either of the two goalies. I would assume Saros and probably Decord. San Jose against Dallas. This one should be Dallas. I'm not going to bet on San Jose in a spot like this. I'm not going to bet on this game in general because Dallas is so heavily favored, but I will take Dallas as my pick to win it. And then Chicago-Calgary is actually a pretty interesting game. Calgary, of course, off to a pretty good start. Chicago hasn't looked horrible. They last beat up on the Edmonton Oilers, so we'll see if they can continue their upward trajectory or if they fall to a hot Flames team, no pun intended. And then the final game of the night, the aforementioned, I have Chicago in that game, by the way. The aforementioned Edmonton Oilers against the Philadelphia Flyers, two teams that have kind of struggled off the jump here. Edmonton, though, still winless after their first 3 games. And I've taken them, I think, in all 3 of their games so far. They've lost all 3. I'm going to stick with that. Eventually, I will win one game, or they will win one game that I picked them to win. I could very well see it being against this Flyers team that's not all that great defensively. I would expect McDavid and Draisaitl to kind of be due and light it up tonight, especially if it's against the Flyers. I mean, Sam Ersson, Ivan Fedotov, neither of them have been all that great. I mean, Ersson's been solid for Philadelphia, but yeah, I'll take Edmonton in this one, and I'll continue to be wrong until they win a game. I probably won't bet against them for a little bit. But those are the picks for tonight. Tampa, Washington, Jersey, Florida, St. Louis, Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, and Edmonton. The record as of now, as you guys will have already seen on the screen here, but we should be up to 24-17, so not too bad. A big slate tonight, though. We'll see how those games look. As far as any betting angles, I didn't get a ton of time to review this before the video today, but a couple spots, Chicago and Calgary, if you can get that line at over 6, as long as it's not anything dramatic, above 130, above 125, that's a pretty good spot. And then the rest of these were kind of just gut check money line spots that I really wouldn't recommend throwing any money on, but I threw some cash on Seattle, on Jersey, on Philadelphia, all in underdog spots and in places I think that there's a good chance they win. I know I said I picked Edmonton to win, but I did bet on Philadelphia, so kind of fading myself a bit there. And then I think the Edmonton and Philadelphia over 6.5 should, in theory, be pretty free money, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, those are going to be my picks for tonight. Again, Tampa, Washington, Jersey, Florida, St. Louis, Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, and Edmonton. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I will have my first power rankings of the season out this Friday, by the way. I didn't want to do them this past week with the shortened week with only a handful of games. So I think almost 2 weeks of exposure for both, or for all of these teams, really, will give us a good picture of where everyone stands as far as the power rankings are concerned. So look forward to that. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow to see how these picks go.